Welcome to the Blumhouse. Well, this isn't exactly the Blumhouse, but work with me, okay? Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, and yes, that's right, judging by the title of this video, we're going to the Blumhouse. And today we are looking at the first of 4 new releases from Blumhouse Studios, The Lie. A man and his wife fall into a web of lies and deceit when they try to cover up their teenage daughter Kayla's horrific crime, the murder of her best friend Brittany. So, what are the pros with The Lie? Not a whole lot, really. I am struggling to come up with a good thing to say about this movie, guys. It is really freaking difficult. But I'll humor you guys for a second. So let's see. I really like the fact that this film is set in a snowy environment to kind of symbolize the fact that Kayla is on thin ice. Yeah, this movie is really bad, people. I've sat through a lot of scary movies, but none have reached the level of nonsensical storytelling that this movie reaches. Just for starters, these main characters are just so unlikable. These characters' motivations felt like they were changing every scene. Their super objectives became about as foggy as the film's atmosphere. And it's also the fact that the characters we're following aren't even the heroes of this narrative. I felt like the hero of this story should have been Sam. Sam is the guy who's looking for his missing daughter, fighting against the oppressive parents who are buddying up to the local authorities to make sure that their daughter gets away with murder. But no, they're the good guys and they're the central characters. I just could not stand the sight of these 3, and the fact that they were supposed to be the protagonists just really sickened me, because their actions are just so damn horrific. Now don't get me wrong, this is not on these performers at all. They are all extremely talented, and I'm sure they were giving this material the best they possibly could. But I don't know, as an actor myself, you can only give so much to something Can I not talk today? You can only give so much to something so shallow and contrived. Also, I gotta say, this dialogue, my god, is it so poorly written. God, this is probably all gonna sound really horrible, but it. I liked it better when these characters were not talking at all. Now, when these actors get to play around with the subtext, those can be considered some bright spots of the movie. But when there's movies that play around with this terrifying family drama with a lot more skill, these moments can't really salvage such a shallow story. Which brings me to actually another issue with this movie. You're noticing a trend here. I have got a lot of issues with this thing. We don't even see the murder in question happen on screen. Now, there's a very clear reason for that, which I'll certainly get to in a second. But what I was kind of hoping this movie would be is the fact that these parents don't exactly know whether or not Kayla committed this murder by accident or whether or not she did it on purpose. I feel like if the storyline was more centrally focused on just those 3 characters being at odds with each other and not so much covering up the damn crime, and just letting the audience kind of decipher whether or not Kayla actually did commit this murder on purpose, I think that would have made this movie a lot more compelling. But again, nope. That's not what this movie is at all. Now granted, I will say there are a lot more movies that I'm going to talk about this month actually that do that suggestive horror, where they don't explicitly show you what happens, but it kind of is implied that they happen. There's a lot more films I'm going to talk about. I'm not really going to reveal them right now, but there's a lot more films that do that with a lot more skill, certainly. But again, wishful thinking on my part, because getting into why the facts of this murder was not shown, what does end up happening is revealing the lamest plot twist I have ever seen in my life. God, God, guys, I really want to talk about this, but I have kind of a moral dilemma with spoilers and such, and oh, it. You guys deserve to be saved 90 minutes of your lives. So here we go. If you don't want to be spoiled about The Lie, please turn the video off right here and come back after you finished it. But at this point, I'm going to spoil some shit because it's got to happen at this point. It just has to. So this big plot twist essentially tells us that Kayla didn't actually kill Brittany. Because, as a matter of fact, get this, Brittany was alive the whole damn time. That's right, with about 10 minutes remaining in this fest, the girl who the parents thought was killed actually just nonchalantly walks into their garage perfectly fine. Very much alive, no scratch on her whatsoever. Yeah, she basically says Kayla throwing her off a bridge was this entire ploy just so she could spend a weekend with her damn boyfriend. I literally could not believe my eyes. I was just sitting there with like this wide-eyed look of bewilderment on my face as I was looking at it, and I was like, you're joking, right? They're actually doing this?
Yes!
Basically, that was essentially the movie just telling me that they've wasted 90 minutes of my time. Well, I'll tell you what. When you give me such a shitty storyline and some of the least likable and most morally irresponsible main characters I've ever seen in my life, well, that right there is a recipe for disaster, my friends. I'm gonna give The Lie a big ol' F. Yeah, don't see this, guys. I've seen a lot of really crappy horror films in my time, but none have exactly reached this level of stupidity and nonsense. And you know that I would never lie to you. Yeah, I know the joke was lame, guys. But honestly, I'm really glad I made this video, because I honestly do feel a lot better about what I just saw. This is part of why I do this. It's a nice sense of catharsis for me, especially if I watch crap like this. But there are definitely better Blumhouse films that you can watch. But I don't know, have you guys seen it yet? Did you somehow enjoy it? If so, I would love to hear it down in the comments section below, and I'd love to discuss this with you guys further, and why. So, if you guys would like to see me torture myself even further by watching some more crappy horror movies this month, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can. It would really help out the channel. And that way you guys can be the first ones to know whenever any of my new content hits. And if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed watching me torture myself and let all this rage out there, please hit that thumbs up button on your way out. I'd really appreciate that too. And as I mentioned earlier on in this review, I have a lot of really fun content planned for this month, so keep your eyes peeled because I do have a really fun Halloween playlist coming out with some of my favorite horror films of all time. And I'm really excited to reveal all these surprise entries in this Halloween playlist over these next few weekends. And I think you guys are gonna really enjoy them, because I sure do. Guys, in all seriousness, you're the best. Thank you all so much for going through this with me. Look forward to more fun content very soon, as always. And with all that being said, back talk, commence.